right. And with that, we can actually get started. So, hello, hello, hello. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the owner and co-founder of Dressing Room 8, which is a coaching and consulting platform for women entrepreneurs, women creatives. Essentially, what does that mean? I create content. So I'm a blogger. I do a lot of video content, social media content, hosting. So I'm an influencer. I also do coaching. I call myself an innovation coach because I help people innovate in their personal lives, in their career, in their life. Essentially, if you want to fix something, usually it's good to work with people who can help you fix it. So I'm one of those people. Oh gosh, what else do I do? A bit of modeling, which is such a really wonderful transition that started, I think, when I was 28. So that's been a more recent progression in my life. And then I do a million other things. I'm a podcaster. I call myself a media personality, a coach, a writer, an influencer. It's amazing. And tonight, what brings us here together is my intention to give you kind of some really interesting things to think about when it comes to the Netflix original series called You. So if you are a fan of Gossip Girl, then you will be a fan of the guy who plays the character Joe. And Beck, the main girl named Beck, I actually don't know. I forget where. I feel like I've seen her in something else, but I can't. It's like escaping me right now. But the premise of the show, just to kind of give you a little bit of a summary, and comes from IMDb, so I'll share it with you. What would you do for love? For a brilliant male bookstore manager who crosses paths with an aspiring female writer, this question is put to a test. A charming yet awkward crush becomes something even more sinister when the writer, Joe, becomes the manager's obsession. Beck becomes the manager's obsession, Joe. So manager is Joe, the writer is Beck. Using social media and the internet, Joe uses every tool at his disposal to become closer to her. And that's what makes the show super, super interesting, watching what exactly Joe is willing to do to get close to Beck. And he even goes as far as to remove any obstacle, including people that stands in his way of getting to her. So I'm going to leave it at that. I want you to think about what that means. What does removing an obstacle mean when it means that people are involved? Right? So think about that. And so why did I personally love the show? Why did I love the show to the extent that I felt like I needed to do a live stream about it? Couple of reasons. First, this show has mystery, it has intrigue, it has horror, it has romance, all in one. So if you're looking for a multi-dimensional TV show to watch, You is definitely it. And I believe it actually originated on Lifetime and then Netflix picked it up. And so I think they're now moving forward and they're planning for season 2, which is really exciting because season 1 definitely had a shit ton of drama that went on. And there's a lot that's still left to be uncovered because Joe has a riddled past of intrigue and mystery and crime. I'll just leave it at that, right? And so what's also interesting about the show is the story plots, how they meet, the coincidences that take place, how people disappear. Very interesting. And the New Yorker also in me really appreciated seeing different parts of the city that were involved in the shooting of the show as well. So, I don't know about you, but if you like the city that you live in, I mean, New York's okay, but I'm very comfortable with it. So, you see them in Brooklyn, you see them in Manhattan, all these different parts, and it's nice, so there's that. And then also it's kind of scary and eerie as to how some of these obstacles can actually happen in your real life. So when people disappear, when things just disappear, you think, oh, that's fictional, but is it only fictional or could this really happen in real life? So I personally thought that nothing in the show seemed extraordinarily CGI needed to be involved. This all was crap that could happen. And it's kind of scary because I'm married and I've been with my husband and my co-podcaster we've been married. We'll be married 6 years this April. And then we've been together 15 years. It'll be this September. So we've been together for a very long time. But for many of you who are dating someone, or you're trying to, like, get to the stage of just like seeing the person to dating, there's some things to think about, especially after watching the show. So let's go through that. This is what I call the segment of biggest lessons learned from this series. 1, love and obsession are not the same thing. Right? And I think that this show does a very good job of showing you that, because to love someone, and everyone has their own definition of love and what love they need from another person. But I will say, to me, being that I've been in a relationship for so long, that when someone's love is creating scenarios that are harming you or harming your loved ones, is that love? I would say no. I don't think so. I think that is tending to be something more sinister in nature, and I think it's something that is more harmful than good, and love is supposed to be an additive, not a detractor from you. So that's something to think about. Next, pay attention to when you are meeting new people. So when you're out there and you're dating, you're like, oh my gosh, he's so cute, or oh my gosh, she's so cute. And then all of a sudden, like, you lose your phone, or all of a sudden you don't know where, your wallet is, or you thought you had $40, now you have $20, or your favorite ring just goes missing. Like, look at some of the things that start to happen with with these significant others that you're meeting, because that was shown in the show, that, like, and I don't want to give away too many plot details, but when you're meeting someone and you're things start disappearing, or people start disappearing in your life, that's not a coincidence. I personally don't believe in coincidence. I think everything happens for a reason, and you need to pay attention to the signs. So that's what I would say. This show definitely taught me that, and you can take that lesson, you could apply it in a non-romantic context, but the point is, love shouldn't create a deficit of other things in your life. And this love, quote unquote, that was taking place in the show definitely showed that. And I think that was not only scary, not only sinister, but unnecessary if Beck had just paid attention a bit more to what was going on when she and Joe were hooking up and when they were meeting, right? So there's that. Also, another thing to think about, and this is very crucial if you struggle with finding, if you really want to find the one, if you believe in that concept for yourself, then, how much are you getting to know this person? So in the show, Joe does a lot of inquiring about Beck and then listening to her and asking her questions. But I don't think from watching the show that she got enough context about him, about understanding where he came from, understanding his past relationships, understanding why he was attracted to her. Why does someone want to be with you? Right? Like that might seem like a whoa kind of question to ask, but it's critical, because if you don't know why your significant other is with you, then why are you with them? Right? Like I think it goes hand in hand, that you need to understand why you're having these relationships, why you're having conversations with people, and not just assume, be like, oh, well, we met and I guess he thinks I'm hot. So we're, or I guess he likes me. Maybe, why? Take the guess out of the love. Take the guess out of the conversation. Get definitive answers on stuff, guys. Ask critical questions. For me, I would say the basis of my marriage, the basis of the relationships that I have, and I don't have a lot of friendships because, again, people's inability to be honest, people's inability to be grounded is something that, for me, I just don't entertain, because I need reality in every relationship I have, right? So if I can't have that, if there's too many lies or too many, there's no safe ground to walk on, as they say, truth is the only safe ground to walk on, as quoted from, I forget the name of the movie, but it's a really cool movie. I think we saw it 2016, something like that. And, you really want to make sure that you're asking critical questions. Who is this person? Where do they come from? Why are they in the Manhattan area or the city or wherever you live? What are they doing? Right? I don't even think Beck understood why he was really a manager, for as long as he was, right? What was his aspirations? What did he want to do, right? Relationships are not one-sided. You cannot just continually talk about yourself and never get any type of context or frame of reference for the other person that you're dating. I think that is not healthy, and it's not something that's going to probably be a fruitful experience for you, because you essentially are missing that element of understanding contextually who you're dating and who you want to date. So that's something. And then also how intertwined are you in each other's lives? So from the show You, Netflix series you'll see that Joe he gets to know her friends, he gets to know all these different segments of her life, but it doesn't work the other way. And so you have to decide, A, how integrated do you want to be with your partner or significant other? And then it has to be, again, equal footing. You know, the feminist in me says, you know, equality, equality, equality on every front as much as possible, right? Sometimes you may be in a 60-40 situation, but at the end of the day, like if he knows all your friends and you know none of his friends, that's something to question. That's something to like, that's weird, right? Like, why don't I know any of your friends? If he's met your family and you haven't met his family or her family, you know, or whatever pronoun you use, what's going on there, right? Like, just think about just equality, equality, equality. We have to have an equaling of things. So if he's doing, like, think of it at chess, like he moves a piece, you move a piece. She moves a piece, you move a piece, right? Like you have to be matching each other. It can't just be one side doing everything or one side getting engulfed by another person. That's not a healthy kind of scenario to be in. All right. Next thing that I picked up from the show is essentially thinking about when you think about love and you think about how it's fitting in, right? So, you know, when we work out, when we're moving our bodies, right? We don't like quit our jobs. And well, most of us, right? There's always exceptions to the rule, but most of us don't like quit our jobs or say we can't see our family because we got to just work out, right? No, working out is something that fits into our life, right? So you have a schedule Sunday through Sunday, and then you then look in your calendar, hopefully, if you're a planner, right? And then you say, okay, I can go to the gym on Sunday. I can go to the gym on Wednesday. I can go to the gym on Thursday, right? And you fit in the workout regimen or the training sessions or the hiking or the walking, whatever. But with love, how does love fit into your life? How does it add to your life, right? Is it something that's all consuming? And so if you're in bed with this person, it means you can never see your friends, you can never see your family, you can't even eat, you can't do anything, you're going to miss class, you can't go to work. Is that really a healthy situation that you want for yourself? Or is something else going on, right? So that's what I would try to think about. Like, I think back for when I met my love, Khalil. Woohoo! Shout out to my hubby. You know, yes, the beginning stage of a relationship is like super, 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 super like obsessive in nature, where like you only want to see the person. For us, I mean, I don't know if you guys catch my podcast or anything like that, but you know, I talk about how we met, right? And our love story is as such. He's gonna get mad at me for saying it, but it was the fall break, freshman year at Penn State. Woohoo, we are. And ultimately I saw this beautiful man. So I thought the most beautiful person I had ever seen, right? On a bus. And the entire bus ride, I was like trying to talk to him, but he had his headphones on. He couldn't hear me. And so like, I'm just like pretty much pissing off everyone on this Greyhound bus. And then we arrive in New York, and then my pickup line, wait for it. Hey, you go to Penn State because you got on the same bus with me. Yes, I am that like clever, guys. Yep. Horrible way to pick. Try to hit on someone. It was not a good moment, guys. But it gets better. Guess what? So he's just like, yeah, okay, right? And so he's like messing with his bags. He's like these giant bags he's carrying. So what did I do? I assumed that he wasn't into me because he just was kind of seemingly distracted. And then I was like, okay, bye. And I didn't get his number. I didn't exchange my information and just ran off, and realized that like later when we were back on campus, and I was like, damn, I totally messed that up. And then what happened was 2 weeks later at Penn State, there's a place called The Hub, and they show like movies free for college students to see. And I saw the outline of Khalil's back because he's a very wide, kind of very like footballish kind of stance. And I was like, oh, that's the guy that I met 2 weeks ago. So Catwoman was playing with, what's her name? Halle Berry. I'll never forget that movie because of our story. And after the movie, again, I run up to him and I was like, hey, I saw you, I met you 2 weeks ago. How are you? And then he was just like, hey, and we got food, we went to a party, and pretty much we've never been apart ever since. Like, that was our love story. So super, super cheesy. And in the beginning months, generally we're always, we try to always be together. We're very much just like magnetized to each other because he is my best friend. I'm his best friend. You know, we have things in common. Our families would like to say we are the same, but if you actually know us, we are not the same. And if you listen to our podcast, we are not the same. But ultimately, I think that in the beginning stage of a relationship, there is this essence of like, I just want to be with you. I just want to get and just be in this kind of cocoon, right? Period, with your lover, your significant other. But it can't literally be the degradation of the rest of your life, right? You can't be like, oh, I need to write my book and I can't because I'm too busy sexing my significant other. That's crap. You still have goals, you still have shit to do, right? For us, we were in college, we still, we can't fail out of school because we fell in love. Like, no, like you go to your classes, I go to my classes, let's meet for lunch. Okay, we go apart, right? You still have to, so essentially that long drawn out story, and I hope you enjoyed that cheese factor. Woo! I know he'll be like, why did you share that? But it's because true love it comes in all forms and shapes and sizes, right? It's not this epic, like, what's like Gone with the Wind kind of situation, right? It is like a lot of times if you talk to people, their love stories like, yeah, I saw him online, or I went to a bar, or I went to a museum. It's nothing like super glamorous. It's just like, hey, I met the love of my life. How you doing? Want some like nacho cheese, right? Like, it's just like, yeah, it just happens, right? I think love just happens, like so much of the rest of what happens in life. And, I think what I learned most was that you really got to be careful about making sure that when you do get into a relationship, it's not going to consume and take over your life and create havoc. And that's what kind of happens in you. I don't want to say it because again, that would be a spoiler alert, but it goes beyond just consuming her. It really has an impact on Beck's life in a way that she couldn't even predict. And I think a big part of that was because she didn't know who she was messing with. She didn't know who she was dating. And again, when you're dating, who's in control of finding out information about the other person? Who's in control of figuring out how much you know about that other person's life and how much they did and what they did before they came into your life? You. That's what you can do. That's what you have control over. All right. So with that, I think, pretty much that's all I have to talk about for the show. And I have a couple more things just to say. So one, if you haven't watched season 1, please do. It is going to rock your world in the best of ways. It is something that will make you challenge your conceptions of romance, challenge your conceptions of love and what's healthy, what's not healthy, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, how sinister human beings can be, even though it's a fictional story. Look at it and think about, could this actually happen in life? Does this have a space that this is actually happening to women or men? I think if you think about it, it does. And it's kind of scary because there are people out here making poor decisions, which is costing them lots, if not their life. So there's that. Next, I would love for you to share your comments and thoughts on like what were your thoughts on the show, right? I want this to be a conversation as much as possible. So, please tell me in the comments here, either right now or in the future, where were you at with some of the scenes? Did you like, did you not like what? And then most importantly, season 2 is in production, I believe now. So, what do you want to see for the next season, right? Because the more that we're vocal, the more that we can tell the content creators this information. And again, make sure you tag the show, tag Dressing Room 8, and have this public conversation. We may or may not even see things that we talked about in our comment section here that end up on the show, right? You never know. So let's give these content creators, these writers, something to think about because, I'm excited for season 2. I hope you are. And if you're at just starting season 1, then there's a lot more to come your way. So yay for that. All right. Then lastly, because I know we are kind of winding down the program, If you're interested in finding out more content and like events that I'm doing, super simple. Just go to dressingroom8.com. I can put it here in the comments. And so you have it. And then you can do what? You can check out the calendar for sure, so that you can see all the events that I have upcoming for the next couple of weeks and months. And I have things in the calendar technically till the end of the year. I'm really big on planning, but you know, you'll see things, you'll see where I'm adding stuff, where I'm moving things, all that good stuff. So if you just want to stay apprised and you're like, what is she doing next? That's usually the best place to find me and kind of what I'm all about. If you haven't subscribed to the blog, please do, so that you can get updated every time there's a new blog post. And, you know, if you aren't already following the Dressing Room 8 Facebook page, I would greatly appreciate your support in following the page and really, you know, commenting with me, sharing this out with friends and family. Let's have a conversation. I appreciate your time and your attention to this matter, because love is probably one of the most significant and meaningful things that you will have in your life. For me, falling in love with Khalil, falling in love with my partner, is going to be the one of the best accomplishments I've ever will have in my entire life. Just meeting him, knowing him, loving him. I could start crying, and I'll try not to, because I know that, you know, not everyone wants to see a weeping willow all the time. So, but yes, love for me has been the transformation and the beautiful addition to my life that I'm so blessed to have and so happy to talk about. That's why I share my love story, and it's super cheesy and super corny, but that's me, and that's the reality that is my life. And so I hope you appreciated my little love story. I hope you appreciated some of the lessons that I shared here talking about this Netflix series, You. Please go watch the show. Please go watch the show. And please, even if you're watching this on the replay and you're like, oh, Natasha, I wanted to write hashtag replay, and totally give me your comments and let me know that, you know, what you're thinking about for this show. And with that, thank you for joining. I'm going to go sign off, guys, because it is time for your girl to eat and go to the gym. So with that, see you soon. I'll talk to you later. Bye.